Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. BTC had a pullback yesterday of 2.67%, getting rejected at historical, or actually, no, it's active, TBO resistance. Notice that, I need to zoom in so you can see this. This is so cool. So the indicator right here, the red dotted line, tells us where resistance is, which is at, drumroll please, $124,474. Now, when we had a close above it on Monday, it turned green, which is what it's supposed to do. But obviously it got rejected. Yesterday got a big fat rejection, negative 2.67%. But this is actually a really good thing. What happened is that fairly long-term overhead resistance got moved up. Notice that it's not 124K, and now it's 125K. What's the big deal? This happens every single time Bitcoin starts to make a bullish move to the upside. So I'm going to zoom back here so you can see this. So this is a very long-term overhead resistance level at 106K from December 2024, January, and it holds all the way here until we have a little bit of a pullback. And right here on May 3rd, see what happens? Resistance drops from 106K down here to 96K, and the price goes right above it. And then resistance gets pushed up here to 112, and it gets pushed back down here to 109, and that holds as resistance until it breaks above and it pushes up higher and higher. What's the big deal? The big deal is that resistance, TBO resistance moving up does not mean it's broken. It means that this level right here was finished or conquered, I guess you could say, or it's closed above. So this means that we have a greater chance of Bitcoin going back above this level and this new level, even though it's new resistance at 125K. Basically, this means that we're pushing it up higher and higher and higher. And I do think that we are going to be heading up higher. Again, this is still in progress. I still think that we're going to be heading up to 138K next. That's the next target. Yes, the pullback was, I'm sure it was difficult for a lot of people to handle, and it's a little bit discouraging. But guys, Bitcoin is now, it's the same thing like the pullback down here to like $107,000, $108,000. It's over $100,000. How can we really be bearish about this? It's good. Now, here's the reality check. While I have been excited about this move since last week, it's been an incredible move. And many of those days where it felt like there's no way you can keep going up higher. But I also know in crypto, yes, it very well can. I was extremely not cautious, but just trying to stay non-biased, especially in my Better Traders Club write-up yesterday in the market analysis. And I told people flat out, look, like everything is set up perfectly for a pullback here for Bitcoin, but it could also keep going higher. But I won't be surprised if we get a pullback today. And that's what we got. Now, I don't think that this pullback is like devastating like a lot of people think it is. Again, it's only 2.6%. It is a deep cut for BTC, but it's on an uptrend. And if we don't have a pullback, let me say it this way. If BTC only keeps going up and to the right and we go absolutely parabolic like this, that's a bad sign because eventually we're going to have a blow off top and it's going to be a devastating move like that. And it's going to liquidate everyone that is going with leverage. So having a minor pullback like this at resistance is totally healthy. This is actually a good sign. Pullbacks are healthy in a bull market. Now, we want to see the price of BTC go back up to 124K, obviously, and push up higher. But know that it's not necessarily like the move is over or it's done. We need to see what's going to happen when the price is going to go back up here to now historical resistance at 124K. Now, keep in mind, volume is looking good. BTC USDT on Binance. This is the exchange that has the most trading volume for BTC against the stablecoin pair. So this is why I keep using this chart. Volume yesterday exceeded the moving average. This is excellent. Now we're seeing this yellow line moving up. This is a really, really good sign. Just like we saw back over here in early July, it's a really good sign. It needs to be sustained now. That's the trick. Yes, RSI peaked at 84.79. Unfortunately, we did not exceed the high here of 86.70. That does sting a little bit, but understand that when we see a lower high on RSI, it does not necessarily mean the price is going to dump right away. But interpret this, well, let's just invert this interpretation, okay? We know that we had a really deep cut on RSI here. We were massively oversold. on the 2nd of August, right? We were down to 22.23. It's that orange number right there. And when we had this next RSI reset at 24.62 on Thursday, the 25th of September, I knew that because it was a higher low, we have a really good chance of bouncing up higher, which is exactly what's happened. Now take the same concept and invert it, talking about overbought values. We have a massively overbought value here, the 14th of July, where 86.70 was the RSI reading of the day. Fast forward to yesterday, really big pullback in terms of RSI at 84.79. Because RSI did not exceed this level, the chances of Bitcoin wildly shooting up higher is very, very, very slim. I do think that it will move higher. What will probably happen with RSI is we'll do something like this, and the next move up, maybe we'll see a move up here to like RSI going up to like 80, but it'd have to move up a lot more. But we probably won't see daily RSI exceed this level right here. That's at least what I think. We could even draw a trend line, which I'm going to right now. So 86.7, perfect. That rarely ever happens. And 84.79, close, 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 close. 84.71, I'll take that. And we're just going to go to 7.9. Cool. And we're going to lock that, change it to a line. Cool. So this is our resistance level right now. You'll see why this is important later. If you don't get it now, it's okay. But trust me, the TBO is bullish. Volume's bullish. On balance volume is bullish. The only bearish thing, quote unquote, is having a lower extreme high on daily RSI. It's not really that bad, honestly. On the 4-hour time frame, we still have a valid TBO breakout, even though we have a TBT Bearish Divergence that printed yesterday afternoon, which isn't great. But because we have a slightly ascending slow line, it's not terrible either. The one thing that we want to not see is one of these blue dots that happen right here. A blue diamond, which would be a TBO Close Long, but we don't have any of those right now, which is great. So we need to keep going on. Ethereum, unfortunately, did print one of these. The reason why this is unfortunate is for several reasons. For starters, these blue diamonds, which are a TBO Close Long, tell us that, well, if you are in a current open long from here and you haven't taken any profit yet when you're up 10%, consider taking some profit out when the price comes up and tags the fast line, which would be at like 6% from the entry. But the unfortunate part about this is that these TBO Close Longs negate the breakouts. So we had a perfect TBO breakout cluster and a pullback, which is unfortunate. Not to mention the fact that Ethereum dropped below this short-term overhead resistance level again. So we're not saying it's broken yet. I'm not going to be moving it up until we see 3 days confirmed above it. But in terms of the daily time frame, to be honest, Ethereum is still bullish. It's actually strong bullish because as long as it's above the cloud, it's bullish. The slow line's moving up. Volume is better than it has been. It's not necessarily trending up like it was before, but it's better. On balance volume is above the moving average, which is kind of moving down, which isn't good. RSI, notice the same thing. Do you see this? So this is what I'm talking about. This is why this is such a big deal. We have a massive reading here at 96.18, which we're not going to see Ethereum's RSI, daily RSI, hit that for another probably 3 years, to be honest. That was the peak euphoria right there. Ever since that reading hit, we've been having lower highs on daily RSI. What does this mean? It means that the price can still go up for Ethereum since this point, which it did clearly. Look, the price here at $3,470. See how the price has gone up over and over and over? But the problem is that now we're looking at hidden bearish divergence. When we see lower extreme highs on daily RSI and higher highs in terms of price action, that is bearish divergence. That is how it sounds. It's not good. So Ethereum is looking pretty weak, unfortunately, but I still think that it should move up above $5,000. It really should, especially by the time we get to mid-November, it should start rallying again, in my opinion. Stablecoin dominance did kind of what I was expecting it would do. I was hoping that it wouldn't do it to this extreme level. It's actually looking pretty good, to be honest. Now, for those of you that are in the Better Traders Club, and I think for those of you that are in the Coin Bureau Discord server as well, you saw me share this exact chart. It was missing a lot of this stuff. Let me go ahead and hide a bunch of stuff here so that way you can see what I was sharing yesterday. And it is really important that you see this, okay? So I know there's a lot of stuff happening. Focus on the yellow dots and the green triangles. Yellow dot, green triangle, yellow dots, green triangle. These yellow dots are TBO breakdowns. These are the bearish inverse of a breakout. When these print after the explosive downward move, it's typically a bottom signal. The previous bottom signals happened over here in August. Even though we saw stablecoin dominance lose 5%, of course it rallied up higher, which causes short-term pain and panic. Right here, perfectly called the bottom, and it went up 11%. I don't expect stablecoin dominance to move up like another 11%, but we need to be aware that it could definitely rally up higher. So don't be surprised if we see something crazy like that happen for stablecoin dominance, which again will reflect a bigger pullback for crypto. The other thing that is positive to note here about this daily time frame chart actually is just here with the price action. We don't even need the TBO or TBT divergence. Yes, we have those breakdowns that are telling us that this might be a pivot low, but look at previously broken support. Even though we had a massive increase of 3%, we didn't even get up to test this level. But if stablecoin dominance pushes above this, which I don't expect to have happen, just so you know, but if we see it push up here and go higher, we're going to see stablecoin dominance making a very bad move where it's going to be moving up probably here to 7% or higher, which is going to cause a lot of pain. And I have to say that that would be extremely odd and irregular considering that October is the most bullish month, historically speaking, for Bitcoin. I don't expect it to happen. Others' dominance lost support yesterday, closing below it. It's really struggling. This is something you've got to be keeping an eye on. Now we have TBO breakdowns here in a cluster after having a pretty explosive move. I would love for this to be a reversal, but it's losing support and that isn't really a positive sign at all. The TOTALES.D chart basically is the inverse of this one on the 4-hour time frame. Instead of the yellow dots with a green triangle, we're looking at white dots, the TBO breakouts, with a red triangle. These are letting us know that there's a bearish divergence here. And to make matters even worse, here on the most recent pullback, not only do we have white dots here, the TBO breakouts, we have red triangles. We also have a yellow one right here. This one is a TBT Bearish Divergence cluster. A cluster is essentially an extra confirmation signal. It just changes the TBT divergence into a bigger symbol. So that way it just screams at me to let me know, watch out. This is not a good move, especially if it's bearish. If it's bullish, watch out. We should be seeing a really, really big move to the upside. Okay. So yeah, we're seeing signs of a possible pullback. Again, if we see TOTALES.D break below support at 93.06, it's going to hurt a lot more and we'll be heading a lot lower. But I don't expect that to happen because seasonality tells me that Bitcoin is historically really bullish in October. TOTALES, of course, had a pullback. Everything else had a pullback. The total crypto market cap, excluding stablecoins, lost 3% yesterday. We do have a TBO Close Long, which negates the breakouts, which is unfortunate. Same thing for TOTALE100. Others BTC continues to look really weak on the 4-hour time frame. Our TBO breakdowns are still valid. We have a confirmed open short here on Monday. I still think that we're going to see others BTC fall lower because I expect Bitcoin to perform much better than everything else for the rest of this month, leading up into about mid-November, and then we'll see a rotation into others outperforming Bitcoin. That's at least what I think, and it's based off of data that I've shared in our courses here at the Better Traders as well as in the club. So if you're not sure where to start, check out 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom. It is a great course that comes with one-on-one coaching. It comes with free bot trading signals available on the AllTrading platform, the TBT signals. It also comes with active trading strategies, either trend trading with the TBO or using A/B trading strategies, which is fat finger fishing, aftershock pumps, and channel trading. These are the strategies I used to absolutely balloon my account back in 2018 and 2019, and I teach you guys how to do it. It also comes with a 1-month trial to the Better Traders Club, which includes, like I mentioned earlier, my market analysis, private videos, indicators, alerts, signals, watch lists, DCA bot settings, and templates. Like there is a ton of stuff. Not to mention we have weekly live streams, weekly calls that are hosted by our coaches as well as me sometimes. If you're interested in that, you have to be in the trader tier. So if you take 15 minutes of financial freedom, you automatically get a 1-month trial to the trader tier. If you just want to be a crypto tire kicker or a crypto cheapo, you can check out the starter tier for just $1. I also want to remind you guys that there are 2 great links to sign up for Femex, and also BYDFi. Femex, you can deposit and earn up to 30,000 USDT, which is insane. BYDFi, you can basically earn up to $10,100. Make sure to use the links that are in the description below to sign up for those. Just a little bit of a preview. I'm working on sending signals to BYDFi, which I'm excited about. I can't say anything else because I really need to test them. I need to work with them because I was traveling last week. It was really difficult, but that is on the boilerplate. Is that an expression? It's on the stove. It's on the heater. It's in the oven. Whatever. For Femex, I am doing copy trading. The last 2 weeks, like, totally kicked my butt in terms of getting stopped out. But I am building the portfolio back up, and I have some new positions that I've actually entered today. Again, just looking for really quick little trades because that's the idea with leverage for me, is that it's scalping. It's not trend trading necessarily, but that's how I do it. AllTrading is the best third-party trading platform I've ever used in my entire life. I've used many. I've seen many. The reason why I like it is because of how granular it is. It looks intense. Trust me. Once you understand how to use the platform, it's not as intense, but anything when you're first looking at it can be a little bit intimidating. But understand that I'm using AllTrading in lots of different ways. For starters, I'm using the TBO indicator that I shared before to automate long positions. So it's basically, it entered here at $112,000, and it's just, riding the trend for as long as possible. Hopefully it doesn't pull back all the way down here and I lose all those profits. But this position, or this bot strategy, has worked well to allow me to ride the trend. Now, this is different than what I'm doing on Femex because I'm using very low leverage here, only 3x leverage, and you can determine how much leverage you want to use. Like, these bots are super granular. You could also use our free signals. I also shared yesterday that I had these positions open here for, why does this even have I didn't even do that. Did I do that? I don't remember doing that. Maybe I did. Anyway, that's so weird. Wait a second. I have to get my lunch. Just give me a quick second. Hold on. Yes, I paused the recording so that way I can get my bento. I shouldn't tip it over, my bento. Okay, let's get back at this. So anyway, I did take profit on my sold BTC position yesterday. I just didn't like how I felt about the market. Same thing with Litecoin. It actually went up higher. I don't really care because I walked away with profit, and that's all I really care about, is securing profit and being satisfied with any amount of profit. So let's get into today's picks. Before I do, I want to remind you, if you have not subscribed already, subscribe. Help me reach my target of hitting 100,000 subs this year. Crazy? I mean, that's what I'm all about, right? They call me Moon and Papa for a reason. So if you haven't subscribed, do so. If you haven't liked the video, do that now. Leave a comment with which coins or tickers you're interested in me reviewing. No promises, I can't look at everything, but I will take a look at the comments. And also share my videos with others that are interested in crypto trading and investing, all that fun stuff. The next couple of months are going to be really crazy for crypto. I'm going to say the next 4 months are going to be really intense. And after that, things are going to get worse. Not in a good way. They're going to get worse, at least what I think is going to happen. So if you're interested in crypto trading and you want to help others learn how, or they're interested in asking you questions, this is the place to start, because I'm going to be giving you a realistic, non-biased, even though my name is Moon and Papa, a non-moon boy observation of the market. So let's start first with some picks. All right, BNB continues to rally higher and harder. Yesterday up 6%, an all-time high of 1349. What is it? 1349.99. Yep, basically 1350. The first target at 1538 or so, or 1571, basically in this range, is really, 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 really close. This chart is massively overbought, and a really good thing happened. Short-term RSI made a higher high, which is awesome. This is really, really, really good. So now we're going to come back over here, and we're going to plot this extreme high at 95.56, something like that. And then to here, and this is the next level to watch. So 95.5, oh, I'll do it later. If we see daily RSI exceed this, I will be shocked. because even 88.54 is a huge reading, but BNB is super, super bullish. Look at the volume yesterday alone, 1.7 billion, where the average has climbed up to 400 million. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. SPX6900 still has, oh, I'm sorry, this is blue, by the way, because of the valid TBO breakouts that are back over here. Since then, BNB is pumped up 21% now. SPX fell back to the 0.5 fib level, but I'm excited for this chart because it did not print a TBO close long yet, which would negate these breakouts right here. And it's holding the 0.5 fib level. I talk about Fibonacci levels a lot in the Smarter Trader course. I'm not going to talk about it a lot now because that's advanced course content, but this is a really positive sign. But the main thing to keep in mind is that right now, the price is clearly struggling to break above the 618 and to close above it and hold above it. Once it does, it's going to be a quick trip up to 187 and $2 and on. BEAM is looking amazing right now. On the daily time frame, it actually printed a TBO breakout yesterday. Look at the volume. The average volume here is 1 million USDT, and yesterday's volume was 3 million. So basically 3 times the average volume yesterday, which is nuts. I mean, we had a breakout. It's looking really good. SHIB, this one had a TBO close short on Monday, and this is exactly why we don't chase on close shorts, because the expected behavior is to wait for the price to return back to the fast line, which when it's bearish like this, it's pink. So this is our entry right here. So if you took the entry, you're down 1% or so. I expect it to still continue to move up higher up to 1430. S, this one also printed a TBO close short. This is great because this is a chart that has been super boring for such a long time, and it even broke above resistance and it looked so weird. But finally, we have a close short. This is great. But keep in mind, it's in bullish consolidation. It hasn't pushed above the 238. It keeps making lower lows. On the weekly, we're looking at a TBT Bullish Divergence in progress, but the chart's massively bearish, massively bearish. Solana, this one on the 4-hour time frame has a TBT Bearish Divergence cluster. The cluster, this yellow tab right here, I talked about before, confirmed yesterday morning. And now we're seeing a pullback. It's not that bad. And to be honest, we could interpret this as a TBO springboard bounce, bouncing off of the the fast line right here. And our target is going to be 248, which is TBO resistance. ZORA, we have a TBT Bullish Divergence right here, the green triangle. And look at what the price did yesterday. Let me go to the 4-hour. It actually hit overhead resistance. Hitting it isn't enough. We really need to see it close above, but that is a very positive sign that this level is being respected. Once we see ZORA push above, I am expecting something like this, where it bounces off, and then we head up here to about 12 cents or so. Now, of course, not everything looks bullish, especially on the pullback. KCS printed a second TBT Bearish Divergence only on a 2% pullback, but this chart's been really, really quiet for a long time. It's not really moving up a ton. On the 4-hour time frame, TBT Bearish Divergence, also TBO Close Long, which negates our breakouts, which is too bad. XRP continues to struggle with this first resistance fan line right here. We can see so many pierces. Yesterday, it fell negative 4.56%, and it also printed a TBO Close Long before the price dumped. AVAX, this one on the daily time frame has a TBO Close Long after falling deep inside the cloud. But I want to give you a little bit of a secret here. There are multiple lines of the TBO. I want to show you this. We're actually going to hide this because you can see it a lot clearer and you can see the numbers. So we have the fast line, medium fast, medium slow, and then the slow line at the very bottom. See how the numbers correlate to those prices, or rather the levels? When we see big pullbacks, yes, the fast line is a good line to look for in terms of like a touch, but a good DCA level is going to be the medium slow line right here, which is exactly where it fell to yesterday. It's kind of weird and it doesn't work all the time, but I love the fact that it fell right here. And I actually opened up a small AVAX position on Femex because I'm expecting the price of AVAX to go up here and at least tag the fast line to close this move. Just like we saw back over here, we have a TBO close long and it comes up and it closes it. All right. Curve, this one has been struggling with overhead resistance for the last 3 days. Yesterday got a big rejection. We had TBT Bearish Divergences, and then we get a close long, which isn't a good sign. I don't necessarily think that Curve is going to fall all the way down here, but it's clearly struggling inside of, in this channel, I guess you could say. ADA, this one got rejected, even though it printed an open long yesterday. On Monday. Yesterday, it fell down 6% and printed a TBO open short. Like a super schizophrenic chart right now. On the 4-hour time frame, it's just oscillating a lot. What I suspect will happen, honestly, is that ADA will push back above resistance right here, and it'll shoot up higher. But it's going to take a lot more volume and a lot more interest. Right now, I just don't see it. Let's keep going. Aptos. This one is still holding below the 236. I'm shocked, to be honest, and I'm happy for Aptos. It's a really good move for this chart. I'm expecting it to actually pull back a little bit, at least to the fast line. We'll see. On the 4-hour time frame, we have 4 TBT Bearish Divergences, but no close longs yet. The slow line is moving up, which is a good sign, but the price is clearly struggling at the 236. Volume has been growing, which is really good. It has exceeded the moving average ever since Tuesday on the 30th of September last week. So it's looking really good. We just need to see it push above to keep interest there. But right now it's looking weak as it's struggling to push above TBO resistance and also the 236 level. Quant continues to struggle with overhead resistance, same as it ever was. Isn't that Talking Head song? But we got all of this struggle right here. I'm leaving this level. I am not moving it up to here because we haven't seen 3 days closed above this level yet. It's a huge point of contention. But the good news is that we have our close short, and then we have a return back to the fast line. So if you want an entry here for Quant, this is it. It's a riskier entry, but this is it. STX Stacks, this one also had a really interesting move yesterday. It opened up here. It started the day up 7%, and then it lost 5%. But the volume yesterday was really weird. There's probably some news about it, but basically this is over, 4 times plus 4 times the average, which is insane. That's a really big show of volume and a huge rejection. I'm actually betting on the fact that this thing's going to go back up on the short term, not all the way up, but I think it will. And then Test Coin, TST, moved up 15%. I am kicking myself just a little bit because I had an entry right here at 299, and I really wish I put it up higher because it would have been up 30% with leverage, which would have been 300% the way I trade. But I still think that you guys should keep an eye on TST. I think that this one's going to really send. Just got a gut feeling. All right, usual. These are your requests. Again, if you have coins you want me to check out, leave a comment down below. Super bearish chart on the daily time frame. It looks bearish because it's below the daily TBO cloud, and it just keeps going lower and lower. No bullish signs whatsoever on the weekly. Strong bearish. On the 4-hour, it's bearish. That's why it's pink. Tron looks bearish to me. Tron is also a super slow mover. The fact that it fell down 2% is a pretty big deal to me. Ever since it had this massive rejection back over here in August, especially with this 5% drop in a TBT Bearish Divergence cluster, that's a bad sign. I don't really like this chart in general, and I don't really like Justin Sun. Nothing against the guy. I really appreciate the lunch that he sponsored during Token 2049. Very delicious. But just because he's sponsoring the lunch doesn't mean I like the guy. But thank you so much, Justin, if you're watching this video, which I highly doubt you are. Now we have a TBT Bearish Divergence here on Saturday, the 4th for AVO on Weeks or WEX. Crazy chart, like amazing move, 700%, but it is showing some bearish signals. And the fact that it closed inside of the daily TBO cloud is not a good sign of strength on the 4-hour time frame. It's oscillating quite a bit. And this is also quite a low volume coin. The 30-day moving average of volume is at $323,000, so careful there. World Liberty Financial took a really big hit yesterday, down 8%, which is significant. It fell down here to price-based support on the 4-hour time frame. It lost TBO support that's local, and it fell down here. And we also have a TBO breakdown. This is the first one. This is not the right direction. We really want to see it doing this. But I mean, it's World Liberty Financial. What do you expect? Stellar Lumens, XLM, TBO Close Long on the daily after a 6% move down. It's really unfortunate. It closed inside of the cloud. Again, it's just looking rough on the 4-hour time frame. Also, TBO Close Long. Kernel. Now, this one is looking good. Volume is crazy on this one. The 30-day moving average of volume is 4.7 million-ish, which is nuts to me. And look at the price action. It's just really good. And the fact that the price is trying to push, it's clearly in a boxed range, by the way. If you can't see this, like, you need new glasses. Like, that's an insane boxed move. Essentially, this is a bull flag too. If you want to do like the traditional bull flag where we have the price going up and it's going sideways and eventually it's going to break up to the upside and it's going to go higher. But it needs to push above 24 cents first. Supra, this one is very, very, very bearish. I cannot emphasize the word bearish enough, but we do have a TBT Bullish Divergence cluster, letting us know that we have an asymmetric relationship between RSI, volume, and price, where there should be a bullish reaction. But be careful. Be careful dumpster diving right now. Because if Bitcoin does go up higher, which I do think it will, alts will continue to bleed against Bitcoin. Syrup, this one has been struggling with overhead resistance. Even though it had a couple of days where it held above, it's still clearly respecting this resistance level, which is why I haven't changed it. It's not really looking great. If it can close and hold above 42 cents, that will be really good. Ika, this is, I believe, part of the SUI coins, whatever, had an insane pump up, what, 1,000%? Yeah, which is stupid. I don't get what happened there. And then we got a dump and now it's just doing nothing right now. Not surprised. It's just, I mean, nothing's really going to happen until I'd say like the second week in November for altcoins. So when we get to like the third week in November, we could see Ika, Syrup, all these low caps, even like Onyx coin, they should do well. They should pump. One thing that I really like here about Onyx coin is that even though, I mean, this is one that we found way back over here, like way back over here at September. And this thing rallied up in total like 5,000%. Absolutely insane. So the one thing I like about this chart right now is that it is respecting local TBO support at about 1 cent. And these pumps are nothing to joke about. That's a 29% move. I'm not itching to get into this one right here. I'd much rather wait for a pullback just above TBO support and then trade the next bounce, personally. Akash, this one is looking pretty bearish on the daily time frame. On the weekly, it's right at support. But if it loses this, it could still go down a lot, like a lot more. But it's not really looking bullish per se, and it's looking pretty rough. Goatius Maximus. Yes, I can't believe some of you are asking for this coin. This is, for those of you that don't know, this is an AI meme coin that literally serves no purpose whatsoever. Notice the pattern that we got here too. It's the euthanasia coaster. Absolutely. It's totally the euthanasia coaster. You see it? It's hard to unsee it. We get a massive pump, and then we get a return, and the next pump is not so great. Next pump is so big. Next pump is so big. I don't think that GOAT is really going to rally again. I think that memes like this are done. They had their time in the sun. That's it. RSR, I think this one's reserve rights, if I'm not mistaken. Similar story. Well, at least it's moving up higher. That's a good sign. Let me move this, though, because it's really messy. I mean, yeah, it's kind of okay. At least it's putting in higher lows. It's just looking really rough right now. It really is. We do have a good bullish reversal signal because the last couple of ones for TBT Bullish Divergences, we saw RSR moving up, 90%. This one, of course, will not move up the same amount, 75%. So we would be fools to think it's going to go up to 90% or even there to 70%. So I think 60 or 55% is a good first target. If you want to hold some free coins just in case it pumps another 200%, you do you. Say this one is continuing to struggle with overhead resistance, even though we had a good TBT Bullish Divergence back over here and a good response from it, up 12%. The Say is still in bearish consolidation. It's still inside the cloud. It's still trapped. Not really anything positive happening on the weekly. It really just needs to push up and out of the cloud. And more importantly, it needs to push above overhead resistance. That's the next real big thing that has to happen. And last but not least, Avant. Now, I know that a lot of people really liked trading this chart, especially when it was pumping up 160% back in the beginning of September. Don't give up hope. I want to make this clear. I actually think that charts like Avant, especially because it's on Binance, can do really well. Look at the volume. The volume yesterday, $43 million for a chart that just dumps, does nothing. So what's the big deal? Well, I've seen so many charts start out just like this. If you go back, and I'll show you in a second, like Link. It had a listing high and then it dumped and it lost 19% before it rallied up higher. Right now we're looking at 65%. This one, the easiest logical place to wait for Avant is going to be down here near its listing low, which is only a drop of about 12%. But you have an asymmetrically fantastic entry there, because the reality is that we'll probably see a chart like Avant and many other new listings do exceptionally well. If we go back to 2020 for Link, I have to go back a lot farther, don't I? Here we go. So like we've seen charts like this happen so many times, right? We get a listing high and then we get a massive, massive pullback. Can you remember? Any of you remember Link below $1? Yep. And then what happens? Well, when it's the right conditions, right place, right time, we see massive rallies, 900%. And Link does what? It continues to rally and it continues to go all the way up to $60 from 42 cents up here to $52. Massively insane. Seasonality matters a lot. We don't have any real runners like that right now. And I don't think Link will necessarily do the same thing either. But what I'm saying is don't discount charts like Avant at all, because I think charts like this could do really, really well. And again, this is what I teach you guys how to do and how to recognize in our courses at thebettertraders.com. So if you missed my video from Sunday talking about BNB and my target, it's very close to the first target of $1,500, but $2,000, it might actually be a good target, but there's one more that's a little bit higher above that. Watch this video to learn more now. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.